Welcome to Fantasy Baseball, Baseball, Baseball. I'm Dan today along with Steve Romano. Hey, Steve.
How you doing this week, Dan?
I'm doing good, especially now because we're going to be talking baseball. I love baseball. And specifically, we're going to be talking about Field of Dreams head to head Yahoo 14 team league that both of us are in.
It's a fun league. It's super competitive. For a public league, it's crazy competitive. And man, after this week, there's a lot of excitement. It's
There-
really this might be the best year since I've been in it, I think.
Oh, it's tight, Steve. It is tight. And let's get right into last week's actions because it has been very exciting. So, we had a lot. We had about four really good matchups and three that you figured would be the way they are, but it changed everything in the standings a bit. And we always like to do mine first. But this week we're going to do yours first, Steve, because
Ooh,
you beat, at the time, first place team, right? Or second place. I can't remember.
second. Yeah,
Second
they were
place
switching,
team,
but I think they were second. Yep.
second place at the time. You beat the Atlanta Braves 9-1.
9-1. And as I've said before, I really do have a good luck of like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm out to these big leads for the week. And then it's just things fall apart. And it's happened recently, even the one where I took the good one last week of against Humboldt Crabs, I won 5-4-1, but I had better leads through Wednesday night. So I was still like, oh, who knows? But they did not have a good week. So there's that. Atlanta Braves had a very bad week.
They didn't.
Um,
They did not have a
like it
good
was,
week.
yeah, it was. I mean, it's a bad week. So it wouldn't have taken much to beat someone when they have a week like that. But I had a good week. So some of the categories were pretty good wins. Yeah.
Absolutely. Tim, Atlanta Braves posted yesterday at 10:47 a.m. my time on the West Coast. Back-to-back weeks, my team has put up horse dookie numbers. How in the world would I get zero home runs for a week? Unreal bad numbers. At the time, he had
Yeah.
zero home runs at the time. And I saw that post and I went, I'm like, he has zero home runs. I was like, that is crazy. He did end up finishing with one home run. So you won home.
Yes.
So, but that's, I mean, I almost wish he would have finished with zero because that'd be more amazing. But one is crazy low. I cannot even believe his team. He had 191 at bats to your 203. So, but his offense, 35-13, you won runs, 11-1 home runs, 36-11 RBIs, 6-4 stolen bases, and 281-209. I would say Atlanta Braves had no offense last week at all.
Yeah. They had none at all. And I had a magical week by Junior Caminero. That guy he's got like 7 home runs in his last 6 games.
Oh my
He's on a
God.
crazy tear. Yeah, he's going nuts.
That is crazy. Then in the category the Atlanta Braves took was saves, 5-1. I wanted to see, I think, what has he got? He's got Chapman Iglesias. Oh, yeah, that's nice. And also Cade Smith. So very
Oh
good
wow,
bullpen.
that's
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It's like good numbers. I mean, listen, it is a good strategy for head to head to have relievers like that. You go after a few good ones like that because he's going to get good ERA and whip, high K rate, and take the save category every week almost.
Yeah, I was on the flip side of that where I kind of almost punted the category.
I did too. I scrambled and have one, tried to get a second one over and over throughout the year. So, but the pitching category, you took the rest 3-2 in wins. So that was close, 79-70 in Ks, 367 to 498 ERA, and 131 to 147 WHIP. You had 68 innings. Atlanta Braves had 59. Just tough week for Braves. Made a post, was
Yeah,
feeling it. Really, really tough.
yeah, but I will take the 9-1 victory. I fucking needed it, and I apologize for putting them now into the thick of things.
They are in the thick of things. We'll be getting into the thick of things soon. But now we go into my favorite topic is my team. So seriously though, I had a pretty good win beating SoCal Stat Stuffers 6-4.
Yeah, I mean they've been right there as well, and kind of fell off a bit. You've been on the rise. they've been kind of on the hanging on. You took them by two, made a little hayway, just a little bit nudged up.
It was really close. I had holy cow, Stoney Dansby Swanson. What a pickup! I picked up Swanson. He had a doubleheader, and so I picked him up. I think somebody wasn't playing, and he ended up giving me like 2 homers and 11 ribbies on the day
No, it wasn't 11 on the day, right? Was it on the day? He
for
did
the
11?
doubleheader. Yeah,
Oh my. All right, he had seven in one game.
yeah, he
Wow.
had seven in one game exactly. I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah, I
11
mean,
for the day.
I had been shopping shortstops because I've basically been switching them out every week or two for the past 4 or 5 weeks. And I looked at him and I was like, oh, he has been playing good. And I was like, oh, but he's still just hitting 179 over like the last 7 or 14 days. So I was like, I'll make this move instead. And then, like a day later, you picked him up. And I was like, well, oh, Dan's picking him up, huh? And then I was like, oh, he's got a double header. We'll
Yep,
see
got a
how that
doubleheader. I went
works
for the
out.
extra stats. I think somebody wasn't playing. They beat the Mets 10-3 and a 10-5. He was 5 for 9, 3 runs, 2 homers, 11 ribbies, one stolen base to boot, batting 556. So a great day. Hey, Dansby Swanson not having a good year, still batting under 200, I believe, for the year at 190. But what a great day he gave me. I've already dropped him. Um, so there is that. But it
That's
was
like one of the greatest. That's one of the greatest short-term pickups of all time.
it was just I was just streaming, man. So, but it was very close categories. Runs 32 to 31. That could have gone either way. SoCal Stat Stuffers took that from me. I was trying to get that. Home runs, I took 13 to 8. Ribbies 44 to 23. Stolen bases, SoCal Stat Stuffers took 3 to 2. And average SoCal Stat Stuffers 255 240. So SoCal took three of the five offensive categories. But I was lucky enough to get the pitching. He had four more innings, 54 to 58.2, and won the win category 5-3. But I took the rest of the pitching stats: 2-1 in saves, 57 to 53 in Ks, 183 ERA to 307, a 102 WHIP to 118. I made a choice to pick up some bats. I saw that SoCal didn't have anyone going. I didn't want to lose ERA and WHIP. I think they were closer before Sunday. And so I didn't pick up
Yeah,
extra stats. I didn't chase wins. And I have two saves because Tanner Scott got two saves. My one basic closer.
they had a really nice pitching week. I mean, look, those numbers are good. Obviously, 5 wins, 307 ERA, 1.18 WHIP, but man, 1.83 and 1.02. That your pitches were dealing.
Absolutely. SoCal didn't pick up any starters, I think, the last day. That's one of the things I saw on the post board also. I think it was by Momo's. Momo said, Sunday mornings have brought some extra attention to me recently as I watch these starting pitches go off the board. And then Jim replied, same here, Jeff. And this week it's you versus me. We have 7 categories up for grabs today and 5 that are microscopic differences starting the day. So Mr. Awesome's Momo's pointing out that, people are chasing stats. They're going for those extra stats. And, what we're going to do now is talk about that matchup because it was the matchup of the week. Yes, that's right,
Hey,
Mr. Momo's and Humble Crabs.
hey, real quick before we go on to that, I just want to remind everyone or point out that you had 44 RBI last week, thanks to
Yeah.
Dansby Swanson. I'm pretty damn sure that's the highest we've seen, right? I know we've
I
seen a
don't know. I
40.
can't say that. I mean, you would think, but I don't know.
I
And we've
think,
had some big offensive. We had somebody with
yeah,
13, 14 homers last week.
I know. I think 44 is the most RBIs.
Wow.
I'm
Let's see if
not
anyone
sure,
can
but I think it
remember.
is.
Please let us know if you remember having more. So it was a good 6-4 win, but now we go into the next matchup of the week. Mr. Awesome's Momos against Humboldt Crabs, the commissioner. Mr. Awesome Momos pulled off, an upset. Was ranked below Crabs at the
Yep.
time, and it was 5 to
That
4 win for Momos.
that's two 1 point losses in a row for the first place Humboldt Crabs.
Wow, but still pretty handily, in a good place at first place. Um, Mr. Austin Momos is in fifth place. Humboldt Crabs still in first place. Listen, it was a good matchup as Jim, the commissioner, pointed out. It could have gone any way. They had some categories up for Grags going into that last day. So let's go over the matchup of the week numbers. Runs was 34 to 31. Momos took, and homers was 5-4. So right there could have easily been different. And then Ribby's was 20-20. So we're talking some really close offensive stats. But then Humboldt Crabs took stolen bases 7-4 and average 229 to 215. So they're not really hitting either one of them. Humboldt Crabs had
Yeah, no.
227 at bats, and Momo's had 195 at bats.
A lot of good amount of stolen bases would show why the run totals are pretty good, but the low average in RBI
Yeah,
definitely is a struggling week for both.
both of them offensively a little struggling hitting. And then innings 56 to 56.1, Crabs had a slight advantage, but 6-4 wins Momo's took. And then Momo's also took ERA 273 to 463 and 105 to 124. So Humboldt Crabs not having great pitching numbers, but did take the K's 61 to 55. And I got to go look. Humboldt Crabs had 5 saves. Momo's had
Yeah.
one. Does Humboldt Crabs also have some good closers? Let's go take a look, shall we? He has Fairbanks, Baker, and
There's
Lang. So,
three people who meant nothing at the beginning of the season,
well, Fairbanks maybe a little.
maybe.
Yeah, come on, he's closed before. But yes, you're right. 3 players that probably weren't drafted and are now important and gave him those 5 saves he needed to take that category, and he lost 5-4 to Momos. So, listen, another close matchup, and we go right to another 5-4 matchup. And this was another upset. Bellingham Bells beat the Baltimore Chop 5-4.
Tightening it all up, one down. Well, you're going to go through that cluster, that cluster of teams in a little bit, but yeah, Bellingham Bells is active, frequent, looks at the team frequently. Yeah, he was just saying how it makes him enjoy watching baseball even more. You know,
Absolutely, it does. It makes all of baseball more enjoyable, especially your player, especially when you see your player get a hit or do something well. Bells was ninth ranked, and Chop was third ranked in their matchup last week, and now it's all different. That's
yeah,
very
just a
interesting.
little more.
Bells won, but went to ninth to 10th, and Chop lost and went from third place to fourth place. But a close matchup, really close in a couple categories. Home runs 28 to 23, Chop took, and stolen bases 9-7.
Oh wow, yeah, a lot of stolen bases from
I
both
stolen
teams.
bases. What the heck's going on there? Then home runs was taken by Bells. Chop took those first 2 offensive categories. Home runs 12-7 for Bells, 31 to 24 Ribbies took, and 273 to 246 average. So a couple close categories, but then look at this, man. Innings pitched. Baltimore Chop 76.2.
That's a
Uh,
lot of innings.
Bells had 64.2, which is a lot also, but that is one of the higher innings I've seen, and Chop probably needed to do that. Took the K category, 78 to 64. I'm sure that helped. And the win category was tied 3-3. And the whip, that's a pretty good whip for 76.2 innings, Steve. 1.03
1.03 and Bell's is 1.07.
with
That's a
64.2 innings. Yeah, that's just some good whips for both of them in the high innings. And then Bells did take the ERA 278 to 293. So another close matchup. And the Bells, even though they won, like I've experienced, they won the matchup 5-4, but not big enough. Literally went from ninth to 10th place.
yeah, because I took that 9-1 win and jumped him.
You did. So the other matchups are Juiced Up for Summer, played Lumber Company, and it was a close matchup actually. 6-4, Juiced Up to Summer won. Um, and you got to give Lumber Company some credit, hanging in there. It was 29 to 22 in runs, 12 to 8 in home runs, both won by Juiced Up for Summer. But Ribbies 39 to 28. 39 Ribbies is a lot of Ribbies.
That's a lot. Yeah, definitely. That's an
You
elite
you thought
number.
my 44 was a lot. That's right behind it. And then also stolen bases 4-1 was Lumber Company and 263 average to 239. So Lumber Company taking 3 of the 5 offensive categories, but in pitching, 61 innings, point one to 48.1 innings, and almost a good sweep. 6 wins to 2, 2 saves to 0, 61 Ks to 39, 2.35 ERA to 3.17. But then Lumber Company, his pitchers had a good whip, 106 and he took the whip category as Juiced Up for Summer had a 1-2-2. But another close matchup, a 6-4 win for Juiced Up for Summer.
Yeah, and Juiced Up for Summer kind of needed that because last week, right, they lost 0-8 to Raptor. So
Yes.
that was a big dent for them in the standings. So it was nice to right the ship a little bit, you know?
And great segue, Steve, because we're going right into Raptors matchup. Raptor beat Creek Expos 7-2. Um, there were a couple close categories, one tied category, obviously, but 27-22 runs, four homers to three, 25-17, all won by Raptor, but 4-4 in stolen bases. And Creek Expos took average 255 to 235. And then innings, Raptor had 68.2. And Creek Expos, as I think I remember, always has, 25, 35 innings, had 31 innings. And almost swept the pitching categories. Raptor did 4-0 wins, 5-2 saves, 64-26, 4.33 to 6.25. Not a good ERA for 31.2 innings, but with that 6.25 ERA, their 1.36 WHIP beat Raptors 1.40 WHIP. So that was the one
Oh,
category
wow.
Creek took in the pitching. So 7-2 win with a tie. Raptor, big win, needed that too.
Yeah, and after, as we just segued from, they had an 8-0 win last week, 7-2. So they just made up 13 games in 2 weeks, you know?
That is crazy. And then our last matchup of
Yeah.
the week. That's 13 games, 2 weeks is a crazy. And that just goes to show you, with time left, you could get lucky. You could have some big wins. If other teams are 5-4 as you go to 8-2. It could all change. And then we had the IP Tigers playing the Lollygaggers. IP took it 8-1, and a pretty good sweep of all the categories. They were tied in stolen bases 6-6. Ribbies was 24-20 for IP. Runs was 31-20 for IP, and 274 average and 247 average. So, and then Lollygaggers took homers 7-4, though. The one category they got in the matchup, 7 homers to 4 homers. And then in the pitching category, 66.1 innings, 44.1 innings for Lollygaggers. So IP Tigers had more innings and swept the category. 4-3 wins, 6 saves. Wow, the 0 saves. 72 Ks to 47. 4.75 to 5.28 ERA and a 1.27 whip to 1.49. IP sweeping the pitching categories. I got to go look. It seems to be something I'm doing today. When I see a high save total, I want to see who they have on their team. They have Bednar, Varland, and Latz.
All solid. Two of them weren't drafted, right?
Right, I would say.
Varland
Also has
and
Vesia.
Latz.
Also has
Oh,
Vesia.
yeah, Vesia has
We'll
been
pick up a
good all
save here and
year.
there, sure, sure, and good numbers overall. But a convincing win
Yep.
by IP Tigers over the Lollygaggers.
And
And
that's
those
two wins in a row, 2 weeks in a row for IP Tigers.
really nice.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is that is really nice, actually. Well, I'm telling you, we had some other posts too. Right after Atlanta Braves put up how bad 0 home runs at the time finished with one, Mr. Awesome Momos um, posted a meme of a pile of fertilizer,
Yes.
and then
I like the Yahoo app thread is actually super cool. I mean, beyond all the participation, which is rad, um, I love that it has all the transactions listed right in it as well. I think that's a
absolutely
super benefit.
makes it really easy. And then
Yeah.
Jim posted the commission posted, "This should sum it up." And it's a player going to make a catch and getting hit in the nuts. So that really hurts. And then Jim did put, "This is my pitching staff the previous 2 weeks." And as we went over, Jim's pitching has been bad and was really bad against you.
Yeah. It's been a bad run at
It's
a
been
bad time. But
absolutely
there's 5 weeks left in this regular season of the head to head league before the playoffs start. And so as we move on and you start running through standings, just remember 6 teams make the playoffs. The top two get buys for the first round. But then everybody else jumps right in. And as I'm looking at it with 5 weeks to go, I mean, any of these matchups, like three versus six, four versus five, however that may fall. I mean, it's anybody's game. Any
It's
of these teams can and have beaten the other team, you know?
it is really true. Humboldt Crabs, of course, played Momos this week. I think I misspoke, but yeah, that's what I love about this league. You and I were talking about it right before, and the top teams from seven up are tight as can be. I mean, the biggest division between the top seven teams is the number one team and the number two team. So Humboldt Crabs is 3 games up on Raptors, Juiced Up from Summer, and Baltimore Chop. And that is the biggest divide between two teams in the top seven because they're all 3 games back of Humboldt Crabs. Mr. Momo's is only a game and a half behind them. They're 4.5 games back behind Humboldt Crabs. The Atlanta Braves is 5 games back of Humboldt Crabs. And then I'm 5.5 games. So very tight top seven, Steve.
Yeah. So just the top seven are all 5.5 games apart, right? And I mean, an 8-1 week, a 7-2 week. I mean, that doesn't it doesn't take much. That's
Well,
all I'm saying. It
you
doesn't
know
take
what?
much.
It doesn't take much, and Atlanta Braves post summed it up because Atlanta Braves was just in first and second with Crabs. Remember they were jostling back and forth, first and second. Now Atlanta Braves,
Yep.
after a couple bad weeks, is down to six.
Yeah. But only 2 games behind 2, 3, and 4.
Exactly. Exactly. It's so tight. And then you go, oh, it's just the top seven and the playoff spots? Is that no. I think 8, 9, and 10 totally have a shot because of what you're saying, big wins, and who they're playing. You never know. But SoCal Stat Stuffers is 10 games back, 4.5 games behind me. And then you're 11 games back, 5.5 games behind me. And so is Bellingham Bells. You guys are virtually tied 11 games back of the leader, Humboldt Crabs.
So so yes, the top six are within 5. You're at 7. You're a half game out of the playoffs. But then 8, 9, and 10 are only 6 games out of a playoff spot.
5, 6, and
You
6.
know,
Yeah, that's nothing.
I mean, exactly. It's you go 7-3 2 weeks in a row. That's amazing right there. A 7-3, a 6-3. If you do something nice like a 8-1, 8-2, next thing you know, there's 4 weeks to go, and you're like a game out of the playoffs, probably
It'll be
something
interesting to
with
see
other
who's playing
jostling.
who. Absolutely. The only team that I feel kind of secure. I mean, even Raptor juiced up in Baltimore, three games back. I think totally within reach of Bell's, Taters, and Stuffers. Humboldt Crabs is the only team I feel a little safe. They're like, oh, I'm up here on top, 3 games ahead of everybody.
Yeah, and even their losses are like 1 game losses.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one thing I want to bring up real quick before we go to, I'll just run down the matchups to see if there's any interesting ones. I still have, I mean, I have 3 ties this week, Steve, this year, Steve. Three. The whole year, I have only 3 ties. The next lowest is six, a handful of teams. But that's kind of
Yeah.
wacky. Only 3 ties.
Yes. I would. Yeah. 3 out of 15, like 15 weeks.
14, yeah, 14
10.
weeks have been played. 3 ties.
Yeah. That's very low. I would guess more. But
It's
now when
just,
I look at it too, and I see Bellingham Bells has the most, right, with 12 ties,
yeah.
seems like there should. I mean, so like that's basically almost one a week. That seems even a bit low too, kind of, in a,
It,
in a weird way.
yeah, I guess so. I don't think, yeah. You're talking to a team that
Only
doesn't
because
get
like,
any ties. You're talking to the wrong guy. They seem foreign to me. I don't. What? I've never seen a tie. What does it look like?
I mean, it just seems like ties and things like stolen bases and wins and
Yeah,
saves
yeah.
would happen more frequently.
With those 3 categories, I agree. So not a
Yeah.
lot of ties, especially for me. I want to talk before we get into transactions, which I love going through all the interesting transactions as was brought up on the board, the pitching that was picked up on Saturday and Sunday. But 7 plays 3, so I play. Tony Sliders plays number 7, plays up juiced up for summer number 3. So that's a big matchup. I'm going for a close
That is
matchup.
a big matchup.
Big time Taters 9 plays SoCal Stat Stuffers 9 and 8. So that's also a
Oh,
close matchup. Then
yeah,
this
that is.
you gotta just point it out. Bellingham Bells at 10 plays Humboldt Crabs at 1. So
Ooh,
Bells has been kind of hot.
yeah. Bells has been feisty. He's
And,
feisty.
and get this matchup: Braves at number 6 is playing Momos at number 5.
Oh, a lot of tight ones.
A lot of tight ones. We have a couple other matchups. Raptors plays IP Tigers, and Lumber Company plays Creek Expos, and Lollygaggers play Baltimore Chop. So but here's the thing: even though Lollygaggers at 14 and they're playing the Chop at 4, that doesn't mean a thing. Lollygaggers could take that week 6-4 easy.
True, but it is nice to make note going into the week, and we can remember this, right? Like, so this is a week for like Raptor and Chop, and did you just say Momo, right?
Yeah,
Those
Momos is playing Braves. They're 5-6, and then
okay, no. So Raptors and Baltimore Chop, those two, right? Because they're playing teams at the
yes,
very bottom,
they are.
right? Whereas a lot of the other teams are playing each other. So it theoretically you'd be like, this is a week for Raptor and Chop to
The
gain some
game,
to gain some
yes.
games, you
If it
know?
holds true, we have an active league. Anything can happen. You can, and as we saw, your team can hit one home run in the whole week and 190 at bat. So you just never know what's going to happen.
Yes, I mean absolutely.
That is
Anything is possible.
crazy. That I just find that very interesting, and I'm glad Braves pointed that out. We would have stumbled upon it. So let's go into the transaction this past week. So Steve, Dan, transactions matter, especially in head-to-head league. Let's go back to Tuesday, the 23rd. And wow, we had a lot of activity Tuesday, the 23rd. Wow. Humboldt Crabs commissioner, first place team picked up Amaya,
Yeah. That's
and
my yep.
And he dropped Taylor. Taylor's a good reliever, not really closing, could be. Has had a couple blowups recently, but having a great year for the White Sox. The White Sox love seeing the White Sox play well. So interesting pickup. Amaya, he's been pitching a little better, I think, as recently.
Very spotty though. Like not to Bradish's level, but he's kind of there, you
Right,
know.
right. Well, let's see if he makes it through the week. Probably not. And then Carrig was dropped by the IP Tigers, and Brash was dropped by the IP Tigers, and Snell was picked up, and Callahan dropped by the IP Tigers. Love seeing the IP Tigers. Just listen, I love it. It's just an active league. Using those moves,
Yeah,
I love it.
actually I had read something else and I knew I had some empty IL slots. They'd been filled for a while, but I had one or two empty now. So I was like, oh, you know what? This would be a good time to go grab Great Blake Snell and throw him on my IL slot because I have an available one. And I looked and I saw that he was already owned. And then I was like, he's already owned. And I was like, IP Tigers making moves on people like Blake Snell. I kind of like that. And
Well,
so then I went to the message thread in the app and scrolled backwards to see when it happened. And that's when I saw like, oh, he did that 2 days ago. I didn't even see that.
and,
Wow.
it's very interesting because I talk about, hey, they could be spoilers. They can beat a team above them. These bottom four teams, but at the same time, or with three teams. But Steve, there was a good example how they can be spoilers too, by picking up
Yeah.
players that you wanted to pick up, or a team. Yeah, absolutely. So interesting observation. And then there was actually a $10 pickup
For Freddie Peralta, who, dang, I mean, is always like a top 15 pitcher and
in,
traded to the Mets this year and
in the past.
has not been, yeah, in the past, has not been good this year at all. And to make it even to let everyone know in here, even in our big money auction roto league that we've been in for almost 20 years, somebody gave up and waived Freddie Peralta. And
Yeah,
we were like, whoa, just giving up on Freddie Peralta seems a bit harsh, but he has been that bad.
but well, as you know, how I feel about spending money in this league, no big deal. You can pick up players for $0. But I do respect picking him up because he's Freddie Peralta. You just kind of you're thinking to yourself, he's gonna have some good games, right?
Yeah. And as we've mentioned before, we've seen dozens and dozens of players over the years have bad first halves and then turn it on and become what they were supposed to be in the second half. I don't know why that happens, but it does happen.
Oh, Steve, Brazil is ahead of Japan 2-1. So, in soccer, yeah.
Yeah,
So that was you never know, and that's a good example. I'm glad you brought that up, Steve, because we are at the halfway point in the baseball season. We're at a point where you can look at people's stats if they've been playing most of the year, all year. You can go, I can double that, and that's kind of what he might have.
yeah. We're like 52% through the year right now.
That is crazy. So that was a good pickup, hopefully for Bellingham Bells playing the number one team this week. IP Tigers added Rothman, the catcher. So Cal Stat Stuffers pick up Newcomb, the
And yeah,
pitcher.
Rutschman, there's another good one because he was out. I know he's been struggling up and down, but he's Adley Rutschman for Baltimore coming back from the concussion IL, and IP Tigers making another great move.
Absolutely. Newcomb was added. Like I said, Cantillo was picked up by you, and Elder was dropped. Elder, who was pitching well, but not now. Cantillo, who has been pitching well.
Yeah, just totally different. One's going trending very down, one's trending very up.
Right,
It's
coming out of nowhere, both of them. And then I picked up a great pickup. I only
yeah,
played him for
one
a
of the
couple days,
greatest.
but he gave me, 11 ribbies and batted 5 for 9. And I dropped K. Swanson was picked up and K was dropped. K is a starter who he gave me a great start. I think Tuesday, maybe Monday. Um, he's a guy people are going to pick up and drop because he pitches well, but then he also doesn't pitch well. Then Cassie was picked up by me, and Santillan was dropped. Santillan on the IL. Cassie, I don't know. Here's just I needed an outfielder.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was one of the blue chip prospects that the Cubs traded in the what was that? Was that the Edwin Cabrera trade? They got the
Was it
starting
that
pitcher
trade?
Edwin
Yeah, I think that
Cabrera.
makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
I think that one. Um, yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be good. I mean, at least he has a pedigree and he has mashed in the minors.
Yeah, and he was having a decent few games, and that's why I picked him up. I'm short of outfielders actually, which is an interesting thing. Then Reagan's was dropped by Momos. He had him on the IL. Obviously, he's out for the year. Kansas City pitcher
Yeah.
Momos then picked up Cruz. Speaking of Nationals, right? Cruz is really playing well actually lately. So Momos picked up Cruz, the outfielder. You dropped Schultz, the pitcher. Humboldt Crabs dropped Nelson, the pitcher. But then Humboldt Crabs picked up Bennett, the starting pitcher. And then IP Tigers using all their moves, man. Arrighetti was picked up by the Tigers. I love it.
That was yeah, and sadly though, that was a bad pickup
Yeah,
because he had a
Arrighetti did
really
have a
good
bad
start.
start over the weekend. So, because we're already at Friday. Lopez was picked up by the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta lost 9-1. So they're picking, they're trying to do anything they can, pick up some pitching stats. They picked up Lopez Friday night.
They you missed did you say Jake Bennett from the Humboldt Crabs
Yeah,
for
Bennett was picked
Arrighetti?
up by Crabs. Yeah, did he throw well?
He pitched well and he's another minor leaguer. The Red Sox traded for him, like they exchanged a minor league pitcher for him with the Pirates. Like no, the Nationals. They flip flopped. Like we gave a reliever, they gave a starter, and the Red Sox have kind of developed this kid, and he's pitching pretty good.
Nice. From the Red Sox
Yeah.
fan. And then Elder was
Yes.
picked up by the Chop on Friday. That starter you dropped. And then Alexander, the infielder, was dropped. IP Tigers picked up Carrick. Another good. I mean, listen, he is, kind of a blue chipper for Colorado. Summer months coming. Looking for some outfield stats. And Noelvi Marte was dropped. There was a guy who people were expecting something out of, Marte.
Yeah, I mean, he came back. Remember, he got that 80 game PD,
Y-
suspension, right?
Yep.
PED suspension. And then he came back. He wasn't really good, got sent to the minors, utterly crushed minors. Like he was like Barry Bonds down there, but they made him sit for a long time. But I guess he hasn't been good. I really haven't followed him much since they called him back up. But
Right, but he's definitely a guy with some upside. Still very young, in a head-to-head league, of course. Picking up and dropping.
yeah, and going way back, he was one of the prospects the Mariners traded to the Reds for when they got Luis Castillo.
Oh, nice! Wow.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
still believe in his upside. Eventually for him, I don't know about this year. Atlanta Braves picked up Cabrera, the pitcher, and dropped Lopez. Looking for stats, the Atlanta Braves. Momos picked up Perkins on Saturday and dropped Ohapi, the catcher. SoCal Stat Stuffers dropped Kolick. Baltimore Chop pick up Wrangle. I don't think that worked out for him. I can't remember. Raptor dropped Gasser. SoCal Stat Stuffer dropped Cowser, the outfield. I picked up Ewing because, and that was like my last move, I think, of the week. And I was like, do I try to pick up a pitcher? Do I need to? I didn't think I needed to. I wasn't gonna. I could have chased K's, but I didn't want to lose Whip. But I picked up Ewing, upside Mets. I like him. He plays two positions. As you know, I like that. I like that Swiss Army knife stuff. Mighty Lollygeiger dropped Rally. Then there's K, as I brought up before. He's a guy to get picked up and dropped. And I picked him up at the end of last week, and he pitched well for me in the beginning of this week. But Humboldt Crabs picked him up, and I don't think he pitched well at all for Humboldt Crabs.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
He dropped Cameron. Yeah, he's that guy. He's going to give you some starts. He's going to be available. IP Tigers, Avila was picked up. Arrighetti was dropped. I love IP making all these moves. Chop dropped Wrangle because, like I said, I don't think that went so well. Atlanta Braves on Sunday picked up Leahy, the pitcher, dropped Cabrera. These
I
last few
think I
moves have
think
all
they
been
got a.
Sunday. From K on, has been all Sunday. Hoffman was added by Chop, really pitcher, maybe chasing saves or just stats. SoCal Stat Stuffers picked up Rocker against me, and he pitched great, like 6 innings. It almost shutout ball. I don't remember offhand, but Rocker was a good pickup for him this week. Dropped Newcomb. Alvarez, the catcher, picked up by you, and Lord was dropped. Obviously, your catcher wasn't starting yesterday,
Exactly.
and you had a move and you won. I got some close offensive stats. I'm going to pick up a catcher. Not a bad catcher to pick up. He can give you a surprising game. Then Bells picked up Rolson.
I don't really know much about
I know
Rolson.
nothing. Bells is always picking up people I don't know, and I love that about him. And
I know
Vasquez,
he's been a fan of Randy Vasquez though.
well,
Interesting to see him dig
Vasquez
up
had a
on Randy
bad start
Vasquez.
against the Dodgers, and maybe
Oh
that.
yeah, he was actually mentioning that to me earlier in the week, like or weekend earlier in the weekend. He was like, "Oh, I got Vasquez going against the Dodgers tonight. I don't know how I feel," and I just was like, I don't like throwing anybody against the Dodgers personally, especially in a league where it seems 80% of the pitchers being used, or at least half of them, are kind of streamers, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many pitchers getting thrown. Like, so I would say half the league I'm not starting against the Dodgers.
Okay. Well, let's see. I guess that was Sunday he pitched, and let's see if he pitched him. No, Bells did not pitch him. He got.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. He did. He started him on Saturday. He pitched
yeah,
three
it was
innings, had a
Saturday.
10.80 ERA and a 2.70 WHIP. So not a
Was
good.
that against I think was that against
I
Otani
believe
too? I
so.
think.
I believe so.
Yeah, because he's got both, and he actually said that. He was like, "Yeah, he's like, hopefully when I'm bartending tonight, I'll be able to throw the game on." And I was like, "What game?" He's like, "I got Otani and Vasquez going against each other. I'm hoping for
Oh,
that
that's a
rematch."
fun
Like, we'll
game to
have it.
watch if you got them both on your team. Absolutely. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Atlanta Braves picked up Paredes, so the first baseman, third baseman dropped Drohan, and then those were all the moves of Sunday. 708 probably had an offensive category. No, I think 708. That was after the games had played, so he just wanted them and dropped Drohan using his moves before the next week is what Atlanta Braves was doing, coming off a 9-1-9 loss. So I like that move actually at 708 last night. And then this week, Bells picked up Engel, the catcher, dropped Rollison, the pitcher. Humboldt Crabs picked up Gasser for $2 and dropped K, who had a horrible start for him. And I picked up Barnett, possible guys, got a couple saves for the A's, and dropped Swanson because I'm done with him. I think he had 3 0 for 4 games after that big day. I kid you
That's
not. I
hysterical.
kid you not. Well, that's Dansby Swanson. So those were the moves. And Steve, as you said, this is an exciting league. What's going on? How many weeks we got left?
5 weeks of the regular season.
5 regular season weeks left, and the top 10 teams are all within 11 games. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, we always are like, oh, it doesn't take much. Everyone's still alive, blah, blah, blah. But no, I mean, this time, 11 teams are alive, right? Eight, nine, 10,
Absolutely.
or 10 teams are
10.
absolutely alive.
10 teams are
10
alive.
teams are alive.
Yeah.
And you got seven are just all grouped together.
Yeah, they
I
could
mean,
finish in
it's.
any order. They could be the totally opposite order than they are now, instead
I
of the
mean,
guy in seventh.
one thing, someone in that top seven, of which everybody's 5.5 games separated, one of those teams will not make the playoffs. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes. And Steve,
And that,
yeah,
yeah.
one of those teams will not make the playoffs or more if 9, 10, and 11 rise up. And I mean 8, 9, and 10 rise up. And Steve, all top 10 teams within 11 games of each other are above 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And as we say every week, those bottom four teams can totally affect the standings, the matchups, the moves made, people grab before other people get them. Absolutely can play spoilers. I love Field of Dreams head to head league on Yahoo. I love the activity. Thanks everybody for listening and posting. You just make the league so much more fun. I'm Dan O'Day. That's Steve Romano. Cheers.
Have a good one.